Scott Brown here. The job's done. We're going to do a big walkthrough at the end of this exciting episode, but I thought we'd do a little bit of a recap. Go back and look at how the job came together. Basically, this project is completely transforming the living space. We did do some minor alterations. We extended out onto the balcony, but other than that, it's mainly the complete change of the kitchen, dining, living area. This is a 1906 Kingsland villa, and it's on a street of villas that look pretty much the same. A lot of them have had extensions out the back, but this one is largely untouched. The owners stripped off wallpaper and painted some of the bedrooms when they bought it. There was an 80s bathroom renovation that we're definitely going to sort out in this video, but other than that, it was pretty much as is. The kitchen in particular is a 2 by 2 meter tiny space. The ceiling height of the kitchen is actually taller than the kitchen is wide. And I've got a wide angle lens, so I don't know if I show the full extent of how small that kitchen was, but this is gonna be the before of the kitchen, okay? So in the final video we'll have this.
It's a couple of chefs.
Oh, that's on.
You're the sous chef, bro. You're the sous chef.
Bro, what if we use their fridge?
Can you just chop up some broccoli for me?
Also, in order to get into the backyard, you have to go through the dining room, into the laundry, through a little door onto the balcony, and then you can see the backyard. The first job, foundations. Anytime you're doing some kind of structural change in a renovation, it starts from the ground up. And this particular house was sagging to one corner. Over where the kitchen was going to be, it was like 70mm difference from the other side of the living space. More posts, I think, and new concrete.
You just love to get me under a house with piles, eh?
So we had to get a house leveling company to come in with car jacks and literally jack the house up. And then we had to go under there and dig holes and pour concrete underneath a house. I was actually quite surprised how little supports they needed while we did that. The whole place was like completely opened up while we were under there digging. This was the most physically difficult part of the renovation. One of my favorite things on renovations like this is there's a lot of preservation work. A lot of the stuff that we're pulling off the walls at the demo stage is stuff that we use later on when we're putting the house back together. So the wainscoting and the weatherboards was timber that we knew we were going to use later, so we had to stack to one side. While we were pulling this whole thing apart, we had to keep it secure. People were still living in this house, so by the end of every day, the house had to be both secure and weatherproof. That can be a bit tricky when you're changing the foundational structure of a house. Another part of renovations that are a little tricky is seeing the progress day to day. It's this next part here that was probably the most obvious change. We went from having 3 different spaces that were divided by walls to one big room. And that was the day the owners came home and went, wow, like they knew on paper what it was gonna look like, but it's not until you're actually standing in the space where you actually can get a feel for it. And we managed to pull that off 2 days before Christmas. So the bifold doors came in, the glazes came in. We managed to get it all weathertight and secure enough to take that wall down. That worked out well. I'll put a playlist at the end of this video on the side somewhere, and you can watch the whole series start to finish if you haven't already. When we came back in the new year, we managed to get some Cody flooring, and we tied it in nicely with the flooring that was on the house originally. It's all recycled. It came from old beams and trusses. So you don't have that contrast of brand new sparkly flooring with recycled 100-year-old floors. Came out really well. Now, around the time that we were doing this flooring, we started pulling apart the bathroom. Now, I mentioned it before, it's an old 80s bathroom, dire need of a renovation. The whole layout was wrong, shower in the middle of the room, you had to shuffle around it. It was about time we pulled it apart.
Yeah.
Definitely time for an upgrade, isn't it, Burton?
Interesting how the old toilet sits on a pedestal, eh?
Now, I've got to admit something. This was my least favourite part of the renovation. It's not that I don't like doing bathrooms, it's cool to go from an old bathroom to a new bathroom, but when you're trying to get nice straight walls, nice straight floors, inside an old house that isn't straight, and then not lose any of the space in that bathroom, it's quite a small bathroom, it can be very time consuming. It was totally worth it though. The new layout was so much better. The shower in the end of the room with natural light coming in, and the basin and the toilet off to the side to give you the illusion of more space, it turned out so much better. We just had to do a lot of timber framing, straightening and planing in order to get to that point. Time for the final result. All right. Before we had the wall here, and then to get to the dining room you had to go through a door here, and that door has been moved to the laundry, which we'll have a look at in a sec. And then this was a bedroom. That was the main point of all these beams, so we can make this one big room. We had to patch some flooring here, but other than that, this was pretty intact. And the wainscoting over here was, again, pretty intact. So we're able to take off some of the wainscoting from this wall that disappeared and repurpose it here. Now it's like it was always like that. Speaking of always like that, this window here was in that bedroom and it matches nicely with the window right next to it. And over here where the kitchen bench ends, we have the architrave and everything going into the bathroom. The underfloor heating feels amazing, and the tiler did an awesome job carrying that pattern all the way through. The full width shower turned out really, really good. So one thing that people were a little unsure about was the window in the shower. Now this is a pretty cool solution that the owner came up with, and the architect. It's a clear glass panel, so you can still get to the window and open it if you need to, air the place out. And the tiler did a great job of waterproofing in there and finishing the tiles. And then to keep the water out, you just close that. And this is on a slope, so any water comes down here, it slopes off there. And I mean, they used the shower this morning and it's dry as. And the great thing about keeping the window in the same location is that you have that natural daylight coming in. And I think they did a really good job of minimizing the fixtures. So you've got the vanity right here in the corner, off to the side from the door, and then you've got the toilet wall hung to sort of save space as well. I reckon that turned out really good. And the kitchen, how much better is this compared to what was here? And where I'm standing right now used to be outside. So when we started the job, this was the balcony that we ripped up, and this was all weatherboards through here. And you got into the backyard here via this door. So previously this stained glass windowed door here was the entrance into the dining room. And we made sure to protect the heck out of it while we were building, and we put it here to, you know, give it a bit of a feature in the dining room. And it looks really cool when the light comes through the window in the laundry. And the laundry here has got a lot of storage and an extra sink in there, and you've got your you've got your washing machine and your dryer as well. We didn't get this on camera, but Paito stayed behind and did a lot of these finishing details, and he made this shelf himself. And he made it out of a piece of weatherboards, a piece of flooring, a piece of sarking. Oh no, that's wainscoting, and that's sarking. But it's all the same tree, so it came out really good. Over the Christmas break, the owners were using the backyard and coming in and out of the house, and they found that they kept putting things on the nog that was here in the wall frame, and they're like, oh, wouldn't it be good to have a little shelf here? So that's exactly what we've done. And he also did this double shelf here, and that's a piece of old remove from the owner's last place that they held on to. And he cut it, sanded it, and did a really cool system where he sort of routed out the timber and slotted it in. And he's lined it up well with the tiles as well. And yeah, what a difference, right? Thanks for watching this exciting episode, and thanks for watching this exciting series. I'll put the playlist over here somewhere. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this one turned out. Renovating a 1906 villa in Auckland. It's been a pleasure. Catch you in the next exciting episode. I'll check back on that in a few months. It won't be my first time on Google Earth.